Blog Talk Radio.
Aloha, everybody. This is Jennifer O, and I am in Oahu, Hawaii. And today's show we are going to be talking about intuition or intuitive sense and psychic ability. And we do have callers on the air already on the switchboard, so if you just bear with us for a few minutes, I am actually just hosting myself today. My co-host is not here, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what the show is about, and then I'll go ahead and be taking some callers and answering some questions. And one of the things that I want to talk to everybody about is we have intuitive sense and we have psychic ability, and people get very confused on that, especially because there's a lot of readers out there. They all, some are intuitive readers, some are psychic readers. What's the difference? And it's really caused sort of a gray line across the board. It's kind of murky. Some people are claiming to be both and others. And really, to tell you honestly, it doesn't really matter. What the real true difference is, what most people think the difference is. Everybody's born with intuition and psychic ability. Everybody's born with an intuitive sense, and what an intuitive sense is, it's your guidance system. So when you're intuitive, or when you're seeing an intuitive, mostly they like to give you guidance. They can see different things, on your life path and that sort of thing, and so they try to guide you and help you with the information that they're getting and the information that they know and what they're hearing from your guides and seeing from your guides. They're trying to give you some guidance and guide you in the right direction. When we're talking like a psychic, that usually pertains to being able to see future events and past events and that sort of thing. But the titles are thrown around so much here or there anymore that really you shouldn't necessarily, my opinion is not necessarily to go on the title alone. I think you should go on references if you're going to see a reader. I think that you should either have talked to the reader and use your own intuition, your own gut instinct of if they're telling you the truth or if they have some abilities and gifts and different things like that, or you should go on references for people that have already seen them, because a lot of the word psychic has gotten a really bad rap and a bad name for a very long time now. So a lot of readers are now using the title intuitive and they will tell you that because the word psychic comes with a really bad stigma, and they don't want to be related to it. They don't want to be in the same category as that, and that's fine, and I think that that's good because you do want to set yourself apart if you're a decent reader. But that's what I'm saying. It's kind of murky and kind of everybody sort of muddied the waters with intuition versus psychic ability. So let's start with your own intuitive sense and that sort of thing. You are all born with intuition. You are all born with psychic ability. Everybody's born with it. You tend to lose it over time when you're not utilizing it or you're not understanding what it is. And another thing with the intuition and psychic ability, as you get older, you need to understand that intuition, psychic ability is not in your head so much. So what I'm saying is, as a reader and as people that have intuition, the old saying is, if you have a gut feeling about something, that's why. It's because intuition and psychic ability messages are felt in the body. You may get pictures in your head. You may see things, or you may think about, do I want to buy this car, or should I take this route home, or how should I do that? And of course you see those pictures in your head. However, your body will have the reaction. You'll feel it going, well, yeah, that feels right, and it feels good and safe, or yeah, that feels like a good purchase, or if you're not, or you have a gut feeling that just doesn't feel right, or it just doesn't sit with you, that's your intuition, that's your psychic ability, and that's your own internal guidance system. So really, you should, instead of naming it, you should really understand that you were born with an internal guidance system. And when you start utilizing that, it becomes more sensitive. You become easier tapped into it. The other thing is, as a very good reader, or with their intuition or ability for your own selves, the reason that you also pay attention to the body is because your mind will have all these different things that will come into play. It will have judgment that will come into play. It will have all these different things that you heard, grandma say or mom say or a friend say, and judge your car purchase or which way you should go home or whatever. Those all come into play in your mind. When you're dealing purely with intuition and psychic ability, those, again, I cannot stress enough, that's felt in the body. You can get the pictures in your head, but you'll feel it in the heart center. You'll feel it in the stomach area. You'll feel it in a complete different place. It is not like you just see these pictures in your head and then you know that they're pictures. It has to be in combination with the feeling, and that's how all psychics work. That's how all mediums work. They've learned and they understand that it's a combination. It's a balance. It's a balance of seeing the things and feeling it and understanding the difference. And they are very good. Readers are very good at removing and not listening to any of the mind stuff. And you have to divide them and not be able to. You have to separate and not listen to the logical part if you're tapping into your intuition and psychic ability. That should always play a small part, especially as far as safety and all that stuff goes, of course. But your body's really where you're going to sense that. And I'm going to take a few callers just to answer a few questions because we'll probably have quite a bit this show. Area code 609. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I wanted to know if you sense anything about a relationship that I'm having, that I have right now. That
you have right now? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Oh, because you kind of cut out on me. Let's see. Well, can you be a little more specific? Is this a newer relationship?
It's only been for 3 months. I've talked to him.
That to me would be newer, just to clarify. I mean, it's not years; it's months new.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I feel there's a lot of hesitation around the relationship, actually, on your end. So what exactly are you? And funny that I mentioned that. Do you kind of feel a little hesitation with this relationship?
Yes.
Okay, and you know what? Being that I'm speaking about intuition and psychic ability, that is your intuition. That is what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. And, it's harder when it's your own self and you're trying to filter through feelings and filter through that. But do you notice, just to teach you and to teach the other callers out there, do you notice, let's just think about this for a minute so I can help you learn how to tap into this as well as giving you my opinion. When you think about the relationship, your hesitant almost comes from your body, right?
Right. I can feel it right below my breastbone.
Exactly. You are a perfect student, by the way. That is your intuition. That is because you're sensing your body, your guidance system, your guides also give you information through your guidance system, and you can tap into information, in that area. And so your own guides and your guidance system's telling you something's not right. That just to be a little bit hesitant in I'm not really liking it long term. I think in your mind you're sort of trying to justify it, and this is, again, callers and for you, that I'm trying to teach you, because isn't that kind of right? You're sort of trying to justify it and going, well, I'm not really understanding why I'm being hesitant.
Well, no, I know the reason why I'm being hesitant, but I also get the feeling, in that area in my body that things are going to work out fine between us. It's just going to take time.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, okay? And the reason I am is because I do readings, I do hundreds, I do thousands, whatever, a year, whatever, all the time. You should always, always, always trust your own internal intuition and your own guidance system, I truly believe, over mine or anybody else's that you see. And all you listeners out there, that's really, really important, because we are reading you. We're seeing a sense of what's happening with your relationship from the outside in. But you are built with a very good intuition and psychic ability that you've had your whole life. It's carried with you. You know it very well. And in your own intuition, your own ability, exactly where you said, sort of in the stomach area, below the breastbone, that should trump anything that anybody says. It's just very important for you guys to realize that. And I think a lot of times when you go to readers and different things, and we all, I have a very high accuracy, and I'm sure a lot of other readers do, but there's a small part of that where we can always be wrong. And just I can, anybody can. And in your instance, the thing is it's not an abusive relationship. It's not any of these bad things where where you have to worry about safety or anything, Right. So in a situation such as that, if you're having hesitation, but you went deeper and decided that, but it looks like it will be okay if I get through some of these things in the long run, I should trust that because no harm's going to come out of it. Right. Whether I see it being a good match or not, or you seeing it being a good match or not, you really would learn from it either way. Right. As long as you're you're in safety. The only other time, the time that you want to pay more attention to that for everybody out there is like if there would be a safety issue involved. But you know what? Why not? If you're enjoying the guy and you feel like the relationship, I do just for and to clarify with my own reading, I feel hesitation there from you. I feel the hesitation also because I'm getting it from your guides, and I do feel like that there's going to be some rocky stuff ahead of you. Right. It's stuff that you can choose to work out if you want to. Right. As long term as it goes, that's really kind of going to be in your court because I feel like you're going to end up making the ultimate decision on that. And that'll kind of be after you go through some rocky stuff, okay? And another thing, when I tell you you're going to go through some rocky stuff, who doesn't in a relationship?
Exactly.
Exactly. It doesn't mean like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Does that mean, he's going to cheat on me or this or that? No, it doesn't mean any of that stuff. It could mean that you start fighting about salt and the next thing you know, it turns into a 3-day argument. And you know what I mean? It's just, we all go through rocky stuff. So it's really, their ball is really in your court on this, but I do feel the hesitation as well. So I would move baby steps, with it. So, that's my advice.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I feel that, we're not together right now, but I feel that he needs the time to really realize, and I feel that in like before that pit there, it gets like butterflies in it. That's the only thing I can relate that intuition-y thing feeling like. It feels like there's
and one thing that I do, I'm glad that you mentioned that as well. You have to be really careful when it comes in a form of a relationship of that butterfly feeling when you're trying to tap into your intuition, because you also get that feeling when it's just newness and chemistry as well. So you want to try to separate that emotion out, and what you want to do in a relationship is maybe go more long term and feel how your stomach and gut feels. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
I need to move on to a couple more callers, and very good job on your own intuition. That's wonderful. Love to hear that. And, you can check out my website for anybody who's out there. I don't know if you're on there, and be a Facebook friend if you have one of those, because I give advice all the time and talk about my up-and-coming shows. My website is JenniferOPsychic.com or HawaiiPsychicGen.com, and also you can just click on my Facebook thing and add me if you haven't. I have a book that will be coming out probably this year that I just finished that you all should enjoy. It will have all of this kind of stuff on here. So you have a good day.
Oh, thank you. You too, and thank you for the insight and telling me that I'm right on.
You're welcome. All right. We're going to move on to the next caller here. It looks like area code 754. Hello.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi.
Thank
you for taking my call. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. What can I help you with?
Good. Okay. My name is James, and I'm calling you from Miami, Florida. And my question is kind of like the previous caller. I'm in a relationship. I really don't want to give up. So I would like to know if there's any advice as to what I can do to make it a bit more smoother, the relationship to go a little smoother.
Okay, you're in the relationship currently.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is it a woman? Or is it?
Yes.
Okay. She kind of seems like a sort of a spitfire to me. Is she very strong?
Yes, she's very strong. She's a very earthy, sensual, very like a warrior type, and I'm the sensitive and emotional, guy, and she's the complete opposite.
You're right, and it kind of feels like you're just sort of the peacemaker, and you really want to just sort of, just smooth things over as much as you can.
Absolutely.
And but she's such a strong force. The problem with that, with women too, just to give you a little bit of an idea, and I'm sort of veering off from what I think that you probably like to hear, but when a woman is really strong like that, sometimes if you just kind of lay down and smooth things over, they'll kind of like walk right on top of you. And they don't necessarily mean, they're not meaning to do it, like in a sense, like necessarily to hurt you. It becomes part of their personality and part of how they know how to deal with people. And sometimes the only way that you can jar them back into being fair in a relationship, because what will happen with a woman like that is they will almost bulldoze the relationship to where it really has to go their way or you're going to pay. So
absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes I feel like she just doesn't have any respect for me. Absolutely.
Exactly. And that will happen if you try to constantly smooth things over. So my advice to you in that situation, and plus knowing women and knowing my friends that have been that way, and when I was younger, I was a little bit of a spitfire myself. Sometimes you literally have to stand your ground and stand up to them. And you have to go, look, this is the way it's going to be, or you are being unfair, and I'm not backing down. You can scream, holler, and stomp out, not come back for 3 days. It doesn't matter. And
right.
that will gain you a little bit more respect. And I kind of think if you tap into your own intuition, because you do have it as well as everybody else, inside you kind of feel the want to do that, but right. In your mind and as relationship goes, you're just trying to smooth it over.
Absolutely.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But can you feel in your heart and in your gut and in your heart center that you kind of just feel like a push to just stand up to her every now and again? Okay.
Especially today, this afternoon, yes.
that is your own internal guidance system. And it really is, and it's your guide saying, look, now's your time. And you don't have to do it all the time, but you are really smart in reading relationships and reading the people that you're with. So you know when it's important to make a stand. And so pick and choose. Yes, because you are not a nitpicker. I can feel it. So when there's something that's important to you, stand your ground and feel okay in your heart. And I think you would, as well as I would like to see this for you, I would like to see you stand your ground a little bit and have her walk out for a few days and then maybe come back or a few hours or whatever, or even just know that you stood your ground and didn't allow to be walked on, even if it never worked out in the end, although I don't think she'll do that. I think that she'll, kind of threaten and throw quite a bit of a fit. But I think that it will gain you a little bit more respect in her eyes. And those women, for guys out there, just listening, women that are like that have to have a challenge to keep them interested. They have to have somebody standing up to them now and again. Otherwise, they get bored and they move on. And it's a true thing. I've been with women. I've not been with women, but they've been my friends for years and years, and I have friends that are just like that. And after a long period of time, if you're not careful, if they don't get a guy going, look, and standing up to them, they'll get bored. They get bored and they go. You're welcome. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Yeah, we have a lot of people that are actually using their intuitive ability. Love to see that. And I have a caller that I'm trying to get on here. Having a little bit of technical difficulty, but it is 831.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. I was wondering if my name is Tina, and I was wondering if you can pick up any messages that you might pick up from my guides or angels that might want to pass along to me. Anything that comes up?
Okay. A couple of different things come up, actually. Are you interested or in or thinking about any type of healing work?
Yes.
Pardon me?
Yes.
Okay. Are you in it or interested in it?
Well, I've been doing it my whole life. I just don't get paid.
Okay. That's the next thing. Money came to my mind immediately when you called. So that is also seems to be a worry with you tied in with this, but I think that how's your money situation right now? Because it seems like you might have some little concerns here and there about money currently.
Yeah, I am worried about money currently, but not with
and
like what I want to do, but I'm just curious, do you see it working out?
Yeah. Well, I see two different things with you. I got the money right away when you said your name was Tina, right? I thought I heard money. So that's kind of funny. And like, who's not worried about money right now? Everybody's thinking seriously. But, let's talk about the money thing for everybody out there, because I actually have a different take on this that I would like you guys all to know, and then I would like to address your personal money thing. One of the things that I have not done for years, and I have taught my family not to do, is one of the things is I think that we watch too much, CNN, the news, talking about negative stuff all the time, the economy, how bad it is, how this is that. It's terrible. And when I was young, from a really young age, I had read this book. And it had talked about, it was a true story, it had talked about these two farmers in Florida, and they both had orchards of oranges, and they were side by side, and there was this frost that was coming, okay? And so they were huge, huge orchards, and the frost was coming, and one guy was really, really concerned, and he was freaking out, and he was really upset, and just knew he was going to lose all of his oranges, and he covered, put all these, I think they're called smudge pots or something, to keep the fruit warm and all that, and they were all perfect and ready but they couldn't pick them yet, and so he got everything ready, and he was just sure he was going to lose them. He was just bummed the whole time, just putting out all this stuff and being really mad that it was going to happen. The other guy, who had an orchard that was right next to his, or, fairly close, since the frost was coming, he decided, you know what, these crops are strong, these crops are good, I'm going to be able to save them, I'm going to take all the precautions, I'm going to do the best that I can, and because I'm doing this, I'm sure that things will work out fine, because this is why they invented these things, and he's going on just not even worrying about it, taking all his precautions, thank goodness he had plenty of time and all that. Well, when the frost came, the one guy's crops, he lost almost all of it. He ended up losing it was like 3/4 of his crops or something. It was almost down to nothing. And he lost, of course, all of his money and everything that had gone with it, all of it. And the guy that had not worried about everything and just took the proper precautions, his perspective was also different. He actually only lost roughly 1/4 of his crop. And most of it was fine and good and everything. And my point being with the economy now, I don't like how the news and all that shifts everybody's perspective, because I think that it starts making people worry. It starts making them think, well, everybody's losing their jobs, and even if you're in a town that nobody's not doing that badly, they still freak out and worry about it, because they know it's coming, like a wave, like a tidal wave. It's coming, and people are going to start losing their jobs, and it does this whole thing to your perception, which creates your own money flow. It's just, we shouldn't even do that. There's a global economy, which, again, they'll talk about on CNN and all those different things, but, there's other things that happen that you just really shouldn't play into the whole economy thing so much and just not worry about it. That being said, I mean, because your perception really can create your or affect your money flow, right? So that being said, your personal money situation, I actually feel like is temporary.
Okay.
So I feel that it's a very short-term thing, and I feel like your perception on money is pretty good, but actually I've been wanting to talk about that whole economy thing for a while, so you just kind of brought that out in me. You have a really good, you're not so fear-based. I mean, you're a little afraid, but you know what, a lot of people that I talk to that are worried about money are very fear-based in what's going to happen.
Yeah, I've been trying to just focus on it's just going to be temporary or not at all. You're going to be fine, because we got the bomb dropped on us 2 days ago. And I thought, no, we'll be fine. We've been through this before. But inside, when it starts to creep in, I've just been asking the Creator, just take it from me, because this is my old pattern. And I want to focus more on visualizing everything working out rather than visualizing the fear and everything else that can happen. So I'm really glad that you gave those two analogies, because if people listen or maybe download the show, if you just focus on that everything is going to be fine. I'm not saying not do anything. I'm just saying,
because action is very important. In fact, I'm going to tell you another story. People are probably going to get tired of this, but I had a similar thing happen to me myself, and I've actually have that in my new book coming out, and I have it in some of my articles on my JenniferOPsychic.com on the media page. There's a Law of Attraction article.
Okay.
But one of the things that people don't do when they get worried with the visualizing is they forget to take action. And visualizing is very important, and the law of attraction is very important, but action triggers it. So if you're taking proper action like they did with their crops or whatever you can do in your situation with your money, then that's going to trigger the law of attraction even more powerful. But one time I had gone in to get a safety check. Out here we have to have a safety check in. On my vehicles, on your vehicle, and they were moving the tires. And I'm thinking, this is the silliest thing I've ever seen. Like, why are they looking at my tires? Wouldn't you notice if something was wrong with your tires? And this guy looks at me, and he's like, hey, ma'am, can you come back here for a minute? I need you to look at something. I'm thinking, oh, great. He's going to show me my tread is low, because wouldn't they do that? And so he showed me my tires, and as he had turned them, there was a part of the tire that I couldn't see, because normally your tires are straight, and when they're turned, I could see in, and it was all the way, something had happened to my tires, on both my front tires. It was all the way down to the cord. And I'm talking like, I'm shocked that they didn't blow out on me. And here in Oahu, I take this coastal highway for once a week for this meeting thing that I have to go to, and that would not have been a good road to have those tires blown out on me on. So I immediately start to panic, because of course they're not going to pass me, and this is just for everybody out there, all of us psychics, intuitives, we also have, things that creep into our own life. But I thought, oh my God, these tires are going to be $2,400, because with the particular vehicle that we have when we bought it, the size rims that are on there call for a specific size tire. And we had checked into it earlier, and when we thought the tread may be getting a little bit low, and it's $2,400. And I thought, oh my, I do not have $2,400. And I went into this huge panic, and I realized what I was doing, and I thought, okay, wait a minute. Because when I called around before, there was only one tire place on the island that could get these specialty tires. And I thought, what if, and then my own intuition had started finally kicking back in. And I thought, go to the local tire store, go to Goodyear. And I thought, okay. And then I thought, well, what if when I go to Goodyear, they actually started carrying this particular tire? And then as I'm driving, I see now it's completely shifting, because now I've realized what I had caused. So I'm going, what if I went in there and the tires were on sale? That'd be really great. So what I'd like you to do, in analogy to my story, is what I decided and what I do for myself is, instead of worrying, I shift into solution mode. So when I start creating, and I talk to my guides and say, look, if I have a problem that comes up, whether it be money or anything else, a solution will follow. Immediately a solution will follow. And I hold confidence that that's going to happen. So I decided, well, a solution's coming. So if a solution's coming, wouldn't it be cool if these tires were inexpensive and they were carried in the store? That'd be really great. And so then I start feeling okay, how would that make me feel? And I started feeling, gosh, I feel really good about that. And I'm driving, I get to the store, and I could not even believe it as much as I talk about this stuff. I walk into the store, talk to the lady. Not only did they now carry the tires, but they had 2 of them in the store for the front of my car that were now on sale for $150 a piece.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was in shock. Like, I mean, I couldn't even, I'm thinking $2,400. Now I'm down to $300 for 2.
That's a perfect example of what you should do in that situation, and I definitely will apply it to mine because visualizing, I know what's going to happen because I'm not the breadwinner, but my husband is, and I've been visualizing, okay, well, yeah, they told you were laid off, but with his job, really what that means is a cut in pay, and he has a different job title. And I'm like, okay, well, they're going to call you. Maybe they'll call you when you're supposed to, and you'll end up not even working, and I'm just picturing you working. And if not, then I will be okay if they call you in a day or 2. I've been trying to go back and forth between A and B and trying to focus more on it and then just trying to get the fear mode out because whenever that happens, it takes me a day or 2 before I can start to actually visualize what I'd like the outcome to be for our family and what we can be okay with. So I'm really glad that you said that because I've never really heard anybody give me any validation on if I was doing the right thing. And when you said that you were surprised, it only goes to show that you're human too. Like we're never exempt from fear and joy and getting so into things things will kind of creep by us, like you were saying. And I think that's amazing because when you see it unfold and you're witnessing it, you're in awe. I mean, those tires were on sale. Did you say $150?
$150 each. We ended up going back to the store and getting the other 2. We ended up getting all 4 tires for with balancing, it was under $800. So it ended up being a really amazing thing. And what I would like you to do is sort of, also remove yourself and just know a solution's coming. And then, but
Okay.
I'm also saying that this is an opportunity for you to pick up something part-time, and it looks like in the healing area where you're actually bringing some money. So it feels like it's almost a push for you to sort of get going and actually making that more of a part-time career type thing.
Well, I'm waiting actually to hear a response. I might be a part of a television miniseries, and they had me sign some release forms, and it's over a near-death experience that I had, and I am writing a book.
Wonderful.
And
Wonderful.
so there's a lot of things sort of I've been working on, but, I'll just try to visualize more on that. And then also I have other...
I'm sorry. That's where I'm seeing this as being one of your lessons as well, is you really don't have a lot of control over what happens with your husband, but you do have a lot of control over your reaction, and you have a lot of control over trusting the universe and your guides that they're going to bring a solution in for you. And once you just trust that that's going to happen and sort of forget about it and not necessarily put so much focus into it, but then go more your direction where you can bring in a little income and where you can bring in a little bit, whether it be through your writing, your healing, or any of these things, when you focus more of your action towards that way, you may see the income come in and shift a little bit, coming in from you a little bit more, which is sort of what I see. Okay?
That's exciting. You really picked up on my energy 100%. And I'm really glad. I want to thank you for what you said because sometimes I'm so close that I get in my own way. And so I'm going to actually put more, I kept ignoring what I was feeling, and what I was feeling is that I needed to trust more and that this was a learning lesson, but I always sort of doubt myself. So there's a huge, not only did you give me validation, but now that lesson is trust what you were saying in the beginning of the show, or at least when I tuned in, about listening to your inner...
Yes, that's what this show's about, and that's why I'm trying to relate to these callers that are calling and just asking me questions, is really, as you've seen with the other callers, which I'm going to have to take another one here shortly, but have you seen they've all had their own gut, they've all had their intuition, they've all had it, and I've just been validating, but I'd like you guys all to learn how to do that yourself. So that's what I really love to do. I love to teach. I love to teach you guys to do it yourself so that, you don't always have to call me as well. You have the gift. But, yeah, check out my website, that Jennifer L. Psychic, and look at some of those articles. Add me as your Facebook friend if you have one, because that's where all my information on my book will be coming out, which I think you will love. And keep checking in. And my shows are every Saturday. There's going to be a really fun one next Saturday. So keep tuning in. Great to hear from you. Have a wonderful
I'm definitely
day.
going to mark you as my favorite, and I wrote down your name show and your host name because I thought I really need to listen to this woman because what she's saying is speaking to me, and it's very beneficial, and it will help me to sort of step out of my own way and maybe trust more. So thank you, and I'll definitely add you, and you'll be hearing from me soon, but many blessings, and thank you so much for what you're doing. It's really appreciated. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Bye. And for everyone else out there, too, I actually am starting to do some workshops, so those are going to be coming up as well. And we'll be going over more things like this in the workshop and learning or teaching you guys to do the same thing. We have an area code 313.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What can I help you with?
I had a question about school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if you see me getting into a nursing school this May.
Actually, let's work with you a little bit, and then I'll tell you my answer.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to teach everybody how to do this. When you think about getting into nursing school, because you've applied already, right? Because I see that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have to take a test. That's coming up next week.
Okay, so when you think about that, you're thinking about it and you're thinking about next May, how does that make you feel sort of in the heart center area? What's it feel like? Does it feel like good or does it feel weird? Does it feel bad? How does it feel?
It feels good.
Yes, exactly, and that's what I'm getting as well. So I think that you're going to get right in, and that's what that means. I think that you're going to be nervous when you take the test or whatever it is that you have to take, so don't worry about that. When you have a dilemma that comes up like that, and you're worried about something and you're worried about taking the test, when you stopped and felt how it felt in your heart center in your area and you felt that it felt good, that's your internal guidance system. That's your guides telling you, yes, it looks good for you. Okay. So try to use that. Try to use that more. Try to use that more on other things, because some things, not with this particular thing, but some things you could even do it like, should I buy this, or should I have a cheeseburger for lunch, or whatever you want to do. Sometimes you're going to get a feeling in that same area that feels like, this feels weird. Oh, this makes me feel hesitant, just like the one lady on the first call. And that would be when your intuition's trying to guide you away. Okay? So check that and learn that and pay attention to how you feel, because you actually are very intuitive, as well as I'm sure most of my callers, but you in particular are sensitive. So it won't take you very many times before you'll really be able to get a handle on what that and be able to do it really automatically. Okay.
So you see me finishing the program as well?
Yeah, I see that you go into the nursing program and may or get accepted or something happens where you're moving forward.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
You have a wonderful day. You're welcome. I love to see everybody being able to tap into their own intuition and using their own messages. It's really great. You guys should be doing this all the time. Area code 707.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
What can I help you with?
Yeah, I would like to look at relationship. Now, I feel like one's on the way.
Okay, good. Oh, see, you're already starting with your intuition. I love that. That's awesome. Okay, so there's nothing that you have going on right now. You feel one's coming.
Yes.
And actually, I feel one's coming too, and it just seems really soon, like maybe 6 weeks or a month, or I don't know what your soon is to you.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, there you see. I love this. Guys, we have such synergy today. We're really all connected in. So I'm thinking about that time frame, and I think that when that happens, by the way, because I see some past relationships with you and how those have kind of been sort of hard and rocky. I think that this one coming is a good one. But since that you're learning and since you've discovered this before you called, always use that with your relationships as well, women, men, everybody, because a lot of times, and again, I don't think this is the case with you coming up, but I think it's been the case with you in the past. We'll get into a relationship where the chemistry feels really good, and with that, when a relationship chemistry feels good, that aside from your intuition, you do feel it in the body, but it's other parts. It's not necessarily in your heart center. But, and by other parts, I don't mean those other parts, which I'm sure you all thought of right away. But anyways, in your mind, it's really drawn to them, and you get really giddy and all that sort of thing, So what, in the past, and what a lot of people do is when they meet somebody new, they think that they're so attracted to them that they disregard their intuition, and a lot of times women or men will be really attracted to somebody initially, and they'll have that feeling in the heart center like you were talking about, and they'll, again, not you, but they'll be like, wait a minute, something doesn't feel right here, but they don't care. They'll just keep going with it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yes. Oh, yeah, because you've done that. So you're learning, though, and you've learned from those, and that was one of the great things about having those experiences is you learned a lot from those relationships. So I love to see that. Good job for moving out of that and start trusting that area more. You did really well today.
And I'm also thinking.
Go ahead.
I'm also thinking too. This person is the right person.
I feel like it's a very good match also. Maybe you should have your own blog talk show. You're doing really good. I would tell you if I didn't feel that way, but this person is very kind. I keep seeing kind, very kind, and that's something that you need in your life and something that sometimes you have not had in your past. You've had some more selfish people in your past. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and this person's very kind and gentle. Again, not something you've had so much in your past. But you know what? You've also made a decision that that's what you want in your life, have you not?
Yes, I did. Uh-huh.
Yes, exactly. And so you've really created this coming to your life. Good job. You should have been on my Law of Attraction one, too. So wonderful.
All right.
Yeah, so good luck with that. And guys, again, I'm going to keep repeating in case that you haven't done so, but check out my JenniferOPsychic.com website. Add me as your Facebook friends if you have not added me, because I do a lot of quotes and I do a lot of this sort of stuff on there. You'll have information on my book coming out. And also join me again next Saturday. Next Saturday we're having Tom Campbell, but after that, and he's amazing. He does some quantum physics stuff, but if that's not your cup of tea, we'll be doing more of these shows like this every single Saturday at the same time. So join me again. Huh?
Jennifer?
Yes?
One other question. Can I ask one other question real quick?
Sure.
I'm not sure on how will I meet the person, though?
Don't put any thought into that. That just happens naturally, and you never ever, another good question, never put any boundaries on that kind of stuff in your head, okay? Because you don't want to limit where you're looking.
Okay.
You'll just know when you meet them, and that is a good question. You never ever want to limit yourself in that way with hair color, with names, with any of that. They just come in.
Okay.
Okay. Have a good day. Oh, we got her cut off real quick. We're gonna take one more caller, and this may run into running off of the air. Area code 601.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey. Yeah, hey.
What can I help you with?
I would like, will you give me advice to improve my psychic abilities?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand that.
I said I need advice on improving my psychic abilities.
With your psychic abilities?
Yes.
Okay. What did you want? What kind of advice would you like? How to use them?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been listening to the show about talking about how when you think about something and feel how it feels in your heart center area?
Yes.
Okay. that's what you need to do and you need to practice on, because that's where, and as you've noticed, a lot of the callers before you, that they started they started asking their own question in their head and checking how they felt in the heart center before they called me, and a lot of them were extremely accurate by the time that they got to me on the phone. So that's what I'd like you to do, because once you start doing that, you're going to tap in a lot more, and you're going to realize that it's very accurate, and test it on everything. Test it on where, if you should go somewhere, or if you should buy something. Test it on all kinds of things, and then you'll start to notice the feeling of when something feels good and when something feels bad. Don't just do it on in your mind, but feel it in the heart center, okay?
Okay.
All right. You have a good day.
All right, you too. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everybody, mahalo. It is the end of the show, and we will talk to you and speak with you next Saturday.
Introducing Instagram teen accounts, a new way to keep your teens safer as they grow, like making sure they've got the right gear for riding.
Knee pads.
Check.
And helmet?
Done. See you, Dad.
New Instagram teen accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.